There we go. Weird. For some reason, it doesn't matter. The mic audio wasn't going through. Hi, everyone. Hi, hello, hi. Welcome to Saturday. We've done it. And most importantly, welcome to the Crayon stream. I have no idea what's going to happen today. But I'm glad you're all here for it. Hello to the first-time chatters in chat right now. Howdy NZ. Baloga. Jesu, hello. And hello, of course, to all the regulars. It's good to see everyone out here today. I'm very excited for this. I've been testing out all of my little Stream Deck button setups behind the scenes. Let's see if this works. I have a mute button here. So if I just talk blah 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 blah, nice. So the mute button works fantastically, I think. And I can switch between my scenes effortlessly. And we're close enough now to starting time that I'm just going to start us right off on the main page. One button press, and there we go. So I've got 4 buttons set up right now. I'm just going to show you how those all work. So I've got the intro screen, and I've got the exit screen, the main screen, and of course, the stretch button. So now I can very easily go between regular and stretching. Now I do need to set up my other stuff, such as, boop, there I am. I also need to get my stretch timer. So I'm going to set that for 25 minutes so we can remember to get up and stretch our bones. My goodness gracious. Well, look at these. We've got ourselves some crayons here. Got them all poured out. This is a 24 pack of Crayolers. We'll just set that over here so we can see it. Let's see what colors we have to work with. Seems like a pretty good variety. I've already made a waxy mess on the page here, which means they work. None of these are defective. My light, I have 2 like lamps, and I use bounced light. I don't use direct light. So I have 2 lamps behind my computer monitor, which is right here, which is what I'm seeing all of you guys on. Hello. And they point up at the ceiling, which is white, and then that reflects the light back down. They're very, very, very bright, which is why I don't use them directly, because that would kind of blow out the whole scene. And then I do a little bit of color and light correction inside of OBS itself to make sure that the balance is just right. Daily Bean, thank you so much for 4 months. Thank you. Been fantastic having you here. Thanks for being a part of our little crew. All right, I'm going to go through all of the colors and maybe kind of try to sort them a little bit. We'll see. So I've got black, first and foremost. They're so... I'm like, these are so small, but then I realize they're probably meant for, like, little kids to hold. So that's why. But I've got big, meaty paws here. So we've got black. And we've got gray. And these are Canadian Crayolas, so they all have the French names as well. Okay. You know what? I'm just going to dump all these out so I can see them easier instead of balling them up in my hand. So, we've got white here. I don't know how effective a white crayon will be. I can't imagine it's got very opaque coverage, but we're going to find out today. I'm going to go through all of them. Off they go. My desk has a slant to it, so these things are going to want to fly away if I don't stack them like this. Okay. This one is orange, of course. Working on that Minecraft house. I'm excited after the stream to jump back on the Minecraft server. A bunch of us on the Discord have set up a little Minecraft server, and it's been very fun to hop on there and play around. I've actually been thinking quite a bit about it since yesterday when I got to hop on for only a few moments. Planning my house already. This is called Carnation Pink. This is a beautiful pink color. I should probably be swatching these as I go as well, shouldn't I? DeGraz, thank you so much for gifting 5 subs. I really appreciate that. Dang. Thank you, thank you. Here's the gray. Orange. And we do have a hype train going now. Thank you, Pluta, for gifting that to Jesu. Thank you so much. The hype train is now in session. We've got a black. The white will not show up, so I'm just going to put that off to the side. We've got this beautiful, what's it called again? Carnation Pink. It's like a very, very bright bubblegum pink. Beautiful color. Oh, Pluta, thank you so much for gifting 2 more subs. Thank you. Dangerously close to gifting 69 subs now. Don't know if you're going to want to blow past that amount. As I recall, Lion lingered there for a while. So we've got green-yellow. It's weird. I usually see it listed as yellow-green for other, like, color combination types, like in the Copic markers and stuff. But this is green-yellow, or grello. We've got violet red. This is like a beautiful dark magenta. Seems like we have a lot of warm colors in this selection I'm seeing here. A lot of warms and violets. This is red-orange. Very nice. And then this is yellow-orange. It's kind of like a honey color. Here we have apricot, which is a very light peach. We've got just a plain old yellow. Bright primary yellow. We got a green, standard. Although even calling it standard green feels a little strange because this one's trending kind of blue. This is like a cool green. This one here, I would call more of a green natural, but this is a yellow green. Let's see how they compare. Definitely lighter. These leave behind so much like wax on the paper. It's wild. Refineries. Hi. Hello. Welcome in. Violet purple. Okay. Violet purple. Nice deep dark sort of plum. Got a 64 Crayola box. Wow. That is quite the assortment. Indigo. Oh, this should be a nice deep blue. Deep dark? Yes. This feels like kind of a veering on ultramarine. We've got a few more blues here. I'll put some of these next to each other so we can see the difference. This is Cerulean, which is one of my absolute favorite blues. It might be my favorite blue color in other pigment types and other paint types. Then we've got Scarlet. Scarlet, which is like sort of a dense red-orange. Blue-green. I think blue-green was my favorite when I was a kid. Used to use that one for a lot of sky. Now this is red. So this is like a primary red. This one definitely veers warm as well. Red violet. Ooh. Kind of like a deep lilac. Blue violet. Yeah, it's definitely blue violet. We've got... I wonder if this is one of the new colors. So this is called Bluetiful, which, as far as I remember, isn't a crayon that I had as a kid. Bluetiful.
Hope you're having a good day.
A humble bee, thank you so much for 5 months. I am having a good day. Having a Bluetiful day. And thank you everyone who contributed to the hype train. I'm gonna do my little choo-choo in chat. Boop. Thank you so much. Getting the stream off to a nice big start. What do we got here? Okay, so this is basic blue. This is primary blue. I'm curious to see where it trends to, warm or cool. Because those generally are the ways that I figure out which ones to mix together so that they have nice layering and overlapping and they don't dull. And now, brown. An essential part to any kit. We can build a brown out of a lot of combinations of these colors, but it's nice to have just a standard sort of brown out of the box. Pretty desaturated too. So that is our assortment. That is 24 colors. Now we have all of those colors to choose from as we work today. But whatever will we work on? So let me go ahead into the references and see what we can see. Now I've got some nice, like verdant florals that I would like to do. Not florals, I guess, so much as just greenery. It's more photographs from the walking path near where I live. So I'm going to put this up in the Discord. I'm going to put it in the art references section. And we'll start with that as just a nice, easy exercise to try and get some of the values, try and see how much we can actually gradate some of the colors as well. Because I know that can be hard at the best of times with the best of materials. So it'll be interesting to see just overlapping Crayolas, what we can get. And also where the stopping point is. I feel like with the wax, there's going to be a stopping point eventually where you just really can't add anything, but I'm curious to see. I'm using standard vellum Bristol to start here. Which has a nice smooth surface, so it won't catch too much of that wax color. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing yet, but I guess we'll see as we go. Okay. So it has been uploaded into the Discord. So I'm going to go over there now. Boop, boop. I'm going to open that up. Now the photograph has kind of a light shining from above. There was really bright sun on the day, so it kind of caught the camera sensor and made a lot of the top of the picture very, very bright and gave it kind of a glow effect, a nice blue glow. I'm going to try to use some of that in the lighting of this picture. So first I'm going to kind of just square off where I would like this to be, because I don't want it to be the whole page. I want the study to be like... And we want to go from that sort of bright cerulean blue down to, at the bottom, pretty yellow. I'm also going to take the same approach to these as I do with my watercolor or my gouache, or even my markers, which is to think with kind of an eye toward building the lights first and then working the darks over top. I have no idea how well that's going to work because wax is dense. It's not, like, I'm not running through a medium with these, so I actually don't know if this is the right approach, but that's what we're going to try first, and if it doesn't work, then we'll go the opposite way, darks to lights, and see if that works better. It might even be a thing where I have to go, like, piece by piece and work side by side and not overlap them, but we'll see. Okay, so I want to start with a really bright blue-green, and we're also going to grab the, not the regular blue, Cerulean. So we'll get both of these. And I'm going to try to go relatively light at first and build my way up in to those deeper values. And I plan on overlapping these with the bright yellows. Actually, the brightest yellow in the entire picture is right about here. First, I'm just going to build in some of those darker value areas. And I'll try to go in a consistent sort of stroke direction. So I have to make most of these up out of just directional movements in order to maintain the quality of the crayon. If you go in a bunch of different directions, it just seems to make the wax kind of shred and peel apart. But also, I'm kind of just guessing as I go, because I haven't used crayons in a very long time. So we've got the bright basic yellow. I'm also going to use this yellow-green. And that's what I'm going to have for the start of my leaves up here. And we need to build in a bit of that yellow on top of the blue. The foliage is primarily green. And I'll just be going back and forth between the yellow and the blue and try to very slowly build up that green color. Again, trying to work more or less the same way as when I'm doing paint, or at least trying to think the same way. Hello, Lualdia. Oh, gelato. Now, I'm not familiar as much with gelato. Is that a thing where it comes in a few flavors, or is there as wide a variety with gelato as there is with ice cream? Hello, Lazalu. Or Lazalu. Strawberry. Oh, you make your own. Yum, yum, yum. So I'm starting to get some pretty pleasing greens up in this area, but I can tell already that it's going to take quite a bit more layering. And hopefully the crayons can hold up to that. But still, primarily, I want the yellows to be very strong down here. I'm really going to try to push in. And then just like when I'm painting, I'm going to be doing negative painting, well, negative, I guess, crayon drawing around the areas where the leaves are. So in here, where I'm not really putting much pigment, that's where the really dark color is going to be. The deep, deep, deep blues and purples. Right now we're just doing basically what we'll be doing if we covered the whole paper in water and then did some bright washes with the yellows and blues. And you'll notice I'm not really jumping into the greens yet. Trying to sort of build my own greens to start. And then maybe jumping into some green natural crayons a little bit later on. I'm hoping, crossing my fingers, that they layer about as well as when I use gouache. But we'll see about that. One thing I'm noticing is they get a little bit blurrier, a little bit smoother, the more wax that you put on top. I assume that means that it's making kind of a barrier, or like a solid layer of wax that might be a little harder to work on top of. So I'm trying not to push too hard, but you really have to kind of grind in there in order for any of it to stick. I'm trying to be very careful about this area in particular, because these are where the absolute brightest leaves are. Hey, Evie, how's it going? You can see over here, I'm starting to build out some of those leaf shapes, and that's kind of what I want to build into the entire picture. I want to work up to it carefully and slowly. Especially because I didn't go in with a sketch at all. Kind of lunkheadedly just started coloring. I can see that I'm starting to get to the point on the yellow crayon where it's just about nubbed out. Pretty soon I think I'm going to have to start peeling back. I don't have a crayon sharpener, which might be bad soon, but we'll see. I think I can always just sort of go on the side and whittle it down naturally. So just getting those sunlit areas, I'm thinking about where the light is hitting all of these leaf forms. That is a good question, Evangelion. Yeah, I think I can still take sketch requests. I might have to cut another piece of paper to draw them on, but yeah. Nah, the 24 box is just a little guy. A basic little... I think it was like $2. Okay, so now I'm working on the cascading light. So light hits the top of the object, and then underneath that object we have the shadows that are cast because of that light. And that's what I want to work in over here. I'm still leaving some of these areas blank, but these are going to be filled in with the absolute darkest color. I'm just not really bothering with them right now, just in case the wax of the dark color has problems adhering later on. Momo, you're here! You made it for the crayon stream. We are just getting started. Cooking up some fun crayon drawings and studies. Okay, I think I'm almost ready to mix some actual green crayons into this. So I'm going to test beside just to see what the color is. Okay, so this I can use in some of the warmer areas. This is very yellow leaning. And then the basic green, as noted over in the swatching phase, is cooler and darker. So I'll use that to my advantage up here. So I want cooler colors up at the top where that kind of blue light is effusing down. And then I want warmer light down here where I have all of these little sunlit shapes. And they seem to go on kind of transparently, so I can sort of build up a little bit of a wash layer like I would with watercolor. It is time for our first stretch break. I'm going to hit the stretch button. Cat Foods, it's good to have you here. I'm glad you were able to stop by. Boy howdy, like already I love just having the stretch button on my Stream Deck. I got a Stream Deck, by the way. Here it is. As you can see. And look, in the stretch button, it's me stretching. It's the animation, it plays. Isn't that cute? So if I press that, I'm stretching. When I go back to the regular scene. Isn't that fun? So fun. You can also see I have a lot of other buttons that I have no idea what to put there. Or I have lofty ideas of what to put there, but I have no technical know-how. So I'm going to be watching a lot of tutorials in the near future on YouTube. I'm going to be really buckling down and trying to figure out and improve my Stream Deck setup. But I'm really, really excited about it. I've been saving up for a very long time to get one of these things. I'm so glad that I finally was able to. Now up here, it is tremendously dark, so I'm going to go in and kind of mark out some of these shadows, these big shadows. That go all the way under and in. And cut around these leaf shapes. And then on the top as well. It's always so fun building darks around lights. Then you start to get little contrasts like up here, where I'm going to start building in those darker colors. Now, just like with anything with pigment, all the regular color rules apply, so I'm kind of good on that sense. Like, I know that if I mix opposite colors, that they will dull and darken. So I've got primary red in here somewhere, yes, this one. And I've got primary green, presumably, even though it doesn't feel super primary green. But if I mix these, they should make a dark, desaturated color. We'll see how well they actually mix as crayons. But I'm hoping that I can approximate something close to a nice dark mixture. Especially if I can green bias it, which means just putting green on last to make it the strongest color in the mixture. But as you can see, they darken and they gray out if you put opposites on the color wheel over top of each other, which is very helpful if you're trying to make dark areas in a picture. And down right here right now, I'd like to start working on some of those big dark shapes. So I'm going to go in with my greens. And you don't strictly have to stick to primaries. Anything that has the element of the color will be affected by this rule. It's just how colors work. It would also be nice in general to include some red in the mixture just to expand kind of the color feel. We don't want it just to be monochromatic across the board. Like even in the original reference image that I put up on the Discord, you can see that it goes from blue to yellow and then crosses green. So it has like sort of a full third in there. But I don't want to put too much of the red up at the top. Be nice to get a little bit in the blue for a purple mixture here. Now to get a smoother coverage, I'm kind of just going over here and whittling the side of the crayon down so I can have a little bit more of a space to work with instead of a sharp edge. Just like turning a brush, basically, to try and get different textures. There really is no getting rid of these little wax particles. They just bury themselves right into the piece. So I'm going to get some dark blues now, so... What was the one that was kind of like ultramarine? I think it was indigo. And maybe a bit of this dark purple as well. Blue-violet. Okay, so let's go up here. Start filling in these really dark areas. Start building out these shadows. Now there is sort of a line. There is a stem that goes up for this plant. I want to leave that intact. I'm sort of cutting around it. You can't get too much precision with crayons, but I'm going to try my darndest. There seems to be a bit of a saturation point with the wax for sure, where it just doesn't accept any more on top. And then on the other side of this, as long as I can block out some of these shadows right now, kind of the main game. Whoops. Just broke a crayon. Right in half. Well, I'll save that for later, for snacking. Don't know my own mighty strength. Oh yeah, I was gonna try the white crayon. See how that looks, if it layers on top at all. I can't imagine it does, but doesn't seem to. Or at least there's a point where the saturation is too high of like wax on the paper where the crayon's just kind of sliding across it.
Crayons.
Crayons, thank you. Excuse me. Thank you, Bird Laxatives, for your Prime sub. 3 months. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so I'm learning some very important things from this study. Mostly, layering, not great for crayons. That much is clear. So I can't rely on going back and forth like I do with gouache. I'm going to have to think more like I do with Copics. But even with Copics, I have a lot more like transparency affecting I can do. Crayons, it seems like their strength lays in high saturation, very bold colors. But for the most part, it seems like you're supposed to kind of put them next to each other and not on top of each other. So with that said, maybe I'll try drawing. I'm going to go to our old friend, Bulbapedia. And I'm going to draw a couple of Pokemon. I'm just going to do the random selection to grab a couple. I'm not going to go too hardcore with the pencil, so I'm going to use my colored pencils, my water-soluble colored pencils, to kind of make a light line that I won't go too dark on. But I'm going to try to use what I've learned doing this over here and see if I can sort of translate those through. One thing for sure I know, I have to draw bigger because crayons have a dull edge at all times. Pretty much, like as soon as you make the first stroke, even the sharp ones, they will immediately start to dull. So I need to draw the figure larger so I can get more detail in. I feel like Lyra's going to be able to tell. I mean, at the hardest of times, Lyra can tell, but just from the shape, well, actually, it doesn't show up super well on camera because I have it color corrected, but I wonder if you can tell just from this very light line that I've done, because this silhouette this pretty much gives it away. No one's gotten it yet. It is Burmy. figure drawn. Now let's go in with the colors. Boy, howdy, look what it does to the tips when you try to layer on like that. Did y'all ever do that thing with crayons as a kid? That was like my favorite art thing to do in like primary school, where you would color with like a rainbow pattern, and then you would cover the entire thing with black, and then you would take like a fork or something and scrape the black wax layer off, and it would reveal like a rainbow pattern underneath inside your drawings. I used to love doing that in school. It always felt so magical. Okay, so this time I'm just pressing lightly to layer on. I don't want to have the same problem I had over here, which was putting in a really thick layer of wax and then not being able to do anything with it because it was too thick. So this time we're just going to go lightly, and I'm going to use more or less just straight up colors. Okay, there's kind of like a gray in here. I wonder what happens if I create kind of a resist with the white. Put down a really thin layer of this white crayon. The program I'm using for the little U in the corner, all I have is a Discord server where I have a voice channel and a text channel. If you go onto YouTube and you look up PNG Tuber, you'll find a really good tutorial on how to get that all set up. But it's very easy to do, tremendously easy. All you need is a couple images and a little Discord server, and you're good to go. PNG tuber. Tuber. All right, we've got another stretch to go here. I'm gonna reset that stretch timer. Boop. First time someone mentioned PNG tubers in my chat, I thought it was also about potatoes. Oh yeah, stretchy. Boop. The goal of this is to very, very incrementally get better at this thing that I have no experience with until in the final second of the stream I draw something good. That's the ultimate. Oh, this poor cracked in half crayon. Trying to add a bit of contrast to the edge, just so, you know, the edges pop a little bit more on the Pokemon itself. But again, I can only layer so much, and I have to keep that in mind. I'm used to my art supplies being able to layer quite a bit. Like Copics, you can put a ton over each other. And gouache is pretty immense in that regard as well. But with the crayons, there seems to be kind of a hard stop. Which is what it is. How often do I stream? I stream Monday, Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. For like 2 to 3 hours each time. Now, I do have black, but I would like to use more interesting colors than that. Maybe some orange. Maybe this scarlet color. To just vary up some of the lines. I like lining in crayon, weirdly enough. Very satisfying. You know, it's kind of funny. We tend to use crayons from such an early age. It's usually one of the first things other than finger painting. Which, by the way, didn't plan it to be my first community goal challenge would have been the finger painting stream, and then this one's the crayons. I wasn't trying specifically to pick things that I used when I was a little kid, although it's very funny. But I gotta say, out of everything that I've used for traditional art supplies, crayons are kind of the hardest one. And it might be partially because I don't have a lot of experience, but they're very unforgiving. I think the main things is like they're non-toxic and they're very cheap, which is probably why a lot of kids would use them. Because it's like the thing that most like learning establishments could afford, which makes a lot of sense. This song, I will look it up for you. It's called, I'll type it in the chat as well. Called Swimming by Sleepy Fish. It's part of the Chill Hop Instrumental Beats for Streamers pack on Spotify. So if you go to Spotify, you should be able to find it pretty easily. All right, so that's this one. But as you can see, man, I guess it doesn't show up very well on camera, but there's so much like wax dust, and when it's on the paper, there's no getting rid of it, which is very intense. Okay, so let's do another Pokemon. I'm just gonna go and type a random assortment of numbers. Hopefully not break my computer somehow in the process. Tide Heart, thank you so much. Purple Heart, indeed. Thank you for 15 months. Thank you, thank you. I feel like I've drawn this Pokemon relatively recently. I guess that happens a lot when you just draw a lot of Pokemon. Whoa, I don't know if I've ever seen this one before, but I'm going to draw it. So once again, I'll start with my water-soluble pencil. And I'm going to try to draw relatively big. Got to make sure I have enough space on the page for this. It is. Yes, it is Gothitelle. Pokemon I have never seen before. I'm not as well versed, I think, with this generation. Was this one from Black and White? Aha, yes. I think that's around when I fell off playing the Pokemon games regularly. And then I got back on board for the most recent ones. Pokemon's head's almost like a axolotl. Has a lot of fins. Okay. Now, the outfit on this Pokemon is primarily black, but I want to build my own. I'm going to see if I can do the layering thing again. We'll see how it goes. In the end, I might resort to black, but I kind of want to lighten up the entire sort of feel of it. So to start, I'm going to go in with a purple. I'll do a blue-violet first, and then mix in maybe a little bit of violet regular. And I can offset those with an orange or a yellow, and that's the color that will dull out a purple. Yeah, they do have very thousand-year door enemy vibes, 100%. I feel like they could be part of the that sister group, the Ghosties. Listen, I feel like you can layer crayons, but again, this is my third time using crayons as an adult, so I feel like I could probably get a 5-year-old in here who would absolutely school me and be like, no, actually you can layer crayons and it's pretty easy too. Check it out, and then absolutely do it. I think the secret is just going very, very light. Well, thank you, Matt Miles. I appreciate that. I had so much fun doing that playthrough 100 million years ago. I would like to do playthrough of some similar types of games on stream. I wish that there was a Mario RPG game that I hadn't played, because that would be a really good stream game. But I have played them all. I'm using Bristol. I'm using Vellum from Strathmore. Very nice, very smooth. Although I wonder if maybe that's contributing a little bit to the buildup of the crayons. If I was using maybe something a little rougher like construction paper. Hey Lion, how's it going over at Pride? Hope you're having a nice time out there today. Try not to stay in the sun for too long. Wear sunscreen. Stay cool out there. Stay hydrated. What do I do when I need to rotate the paper? I'm not a huge paper rotator in general. I've got a lot of contemporaries that do, both digitally and traditionally, rotate their canvas or paper pretty frequently. I don't know if it's just the way that I kind of grew up drawing, especially digitally. I never was able to like rotate the canvas and sort of maintain my workflow, so I just never did. So I got used to drawing very statically. And so that's kind of just how I ended up starting to draw when I switched to traditional a few years ago. But occasionally, if I'm working in the sketchbook, I'll give it a turn. Give it a little spin. Like so very many techniques, it would definitely behoove me to try and start ingraining some of those ideas and some of those techniques like rotation into my regular flow. So I'm laying down this base of just very light blue-violet that I'm hoping to be able to layer on top of. We'll see. I'm not trying to layer 4 different colors like I was in the original sketch up there, so I'm hoping that maybe it'll flow a little bit better. So I'm going to put in an orange, dark orange. Because what I ultimately want to do is the darkest color in their outfit. I'll do that with black, or very dark blue first and then black finally. I'm hoping that by doing that, it'll make the picture a little more interesting. It won't just be flat. Instead, it'll have a little bit of dimension. The parts where the wax just decides to skip on the paper is kind of wild. One of the things I would say I dislike about crayons so far is that sometimes the wax just builds up over top of the cracks in the paper, and so none of the pigment can actually get into those places. And it just gives you a bunch of sort of crackly effects. Now, in some spots, if you can make it work for you, it looks really good. But I'm not quite at the level yet. All right, we've got another stretch, so let's stretch, and I'll try not to forget to hit the button again. That is a very good and fun observation, Sky, and something to consider is the fact that crayons are wax probably would mean that they would be a great water stop for illustrations with paint. Something I love so much about painting on top of acrylic is that they create that sealed barrier, so you can still have that color shining through from below. Like when I did my Monet study the other day with Abby, I had an acrylic painting base underneath that I had done months ago. It's just like a starburst of like a bright sunset color going off into like cooler colors. And you can see a lot of those shine through, the orange and the red. Those were acrylic paint underneath. And so then I took gouache and I painted on top of it. And I was able to create kind of like a, an effect, a glowing effect from below, which I think is really fun. It's one of my favorite things to do. And you don't need fancy materials for it either. That's important to note. I use Toll paints. I use like old craft Toll paints, like 50 cents at the local craft store. That's it. And you put those underneath the gouache and suddenly they pop, and it's really beautiful. Using white crayon and tempera is really fun for secret messages. Oh, that's so fun. I love that idea. That's really, really fun. So I'm going to keep my black marker, or crayon marker. I'm going to keep that on standby, but then I'm going to go into a deeper blue. This one. Oh, we've got Blutiful here. So let me add some Blutiful to the mixture. And I'm doing this on the shadowed side. And trying not to press too hard. And this way we get kind of a nice transition from even a red, like a warm color on this side, over to the cool colors, which looks really nice. And then I'll go back to my black. And use this to create some absolute shadows. Okay, and now we need some pink. The hands. Don't really have like a light blue. I would really like a sky blue, but I'm going to try to just go super duper light with this blue and then maybe tint it with white. Flatten that edge a bit so I can do a smoother. White. Gives me a little bit, I guess. And just like with the other one, I'm going to put some of this bright red around the areas that are most highly lit by the direct light, which is sort of coming in from this angle, because that really high saturation and intense warm color will make it feel a lot more like there is direct warm light hitting the subject. Thank you so much, Windort. I really appreciate that. Okay, and then they have blue eyes. Broke another one. By the end of this stream, my plan is just to break every single crayon that I... Just too powerful. Hey, CL, how's it going? All right. Another Pokemon done. So they're really good for drawing like characters and stuff. Get a lot of texture and kind of fun color movement. Especially if you get a little creative with the color choices. Now, I want to do a side-by-side comparison between a couple of different things. So let's do more Pokemon here. Typing in a random number, and this feels appropriate. Here's my round pencil. Oh, it's right there. It's a good reminder, Nightbot. I need to stay hydrated. You got it. It is Smeargle. Yes, indeed. Yeah, the way that they make the water-soluble pencil is they basically take condensed watercolor, and instead of using sort of a gum medium for it, like you would find in a pan, instead they use a wax medium. So it's almost like a crayon, but it's soluble in water. So when you wet it, the medium dissolves, and then the paint disperses, which is really cool. Am I enjoying drawing with crayons? I mean, I'm definitely enjoying streaming with crayons right now. I'm enjoying all of you being here for this and the experimentation. I would say I don't feel as proficient with them as I do my other art materials, so it makes it a little bit more difficult. But overall, I say I'm having a really fun time. Hey, Purple Haze, how's it going? Now I want to use the apricot color. Oh yeah, Kai and Dash. They make some really good colored pencils. I know a lot of my friends that really, really like colored pencils use their stuff. But I don't have a lot of experience with colored pencils in general. I would like to, at some point, order a small set. Not one of those big sets, but at least the primaries, just to test out and try. Probably on stream. Yeah, the Canada Post tape is legit stuff. Very, very good. It's fun at this point to just kind of jump around the different colors and just use whatever feels right. It's kind of the point that I got to with my Copics eventually, where I wasn't thinking about, you know, this thing is this color, so this is the color I have to use, like the sort of local color mentality. And instead I was thinking about just value and what feels fun. Like using the blue here to line the shadowed side of Smeargle. Then I'll switch to like the hot pink for the other side. Using the bottom of the crayon is actually a really good way to get a squared off edge. Kind of feels like a chisel tip on the Copics. Time for another stretch. Oop. Right. Okay. Let's draw one more thing here. I think that would take us to about the end of the stream. Yeah, truly. I'm thinking about what I want to do for Minecraft. Well, first of all, I know I'm going to spawn in that random island forest area. I'm going to just make my way into the hills and be a hermit out there. Actually, this might be fun. Where did y'all end up? Because I know that you were playing like after I went. Did you find like a good place to set up a home? Not too far? Okay. Oh, right. I forgot about nether portals. Good call. I feel like I need to go on the wiki today just to find out what stuff has been added since the last time I played, because it feels like there's a bonkers amount of things. Just like new animals, new mechanics. Hey, Itachi, how's it going? a hot one out there. I think it's pretty warm here as well. For the most part, the tropical storm seems to have passed us. Thank goodness. Oh dear, cat, stay safe. And there we go. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming and hanging out with me today for the Big Crayon stream. Thank you for raising 500,000 channel points to get it done. Very cool achievement. I've already got an idea for the next community challenge. We're not going to do it right away. I want to give it a little bit of breathing room, but I'm really excited for the next one. So thank you once again. I'll be back. What day is it today? Saturday? Boy, howdy. I'll be back on Monday, so I hope you'll be back for that. We'll probably be doing some gouache painting just to get back to basics. And yeah, please have a great evening / morning / whatever it is, wherever you are. Stay cool, stay safe, and I'll see you on Monday. Bye, everyone.